one to John here. Another long one. Bear with me. John says, my son is entering his U15 AAA year in the GTHL, and based on what various coaches tell me, if he continues the way he has been, he'll be well positioned for the draft in 2 years. I've managed to keep a lot of the craziness at bay and keep it mostly healthy and fun for him so far, but as he gets closer to junior, I find myself getting increasingly nervous because of all the hazing stories I'm reading. You guys mentioned rookie parties on the podcast last week, and if it's really just a few beers, as you said, then whatever, but I've been reading and hearing about things that are much worse than that. I want him to succeed at the thing he loves most, but as his father, I feel strong need to protect him. He's definitely his own person, but I see potential for him to play along, since not doing so would mean the end of progress in hockey for him. How, as a parent, can I prepare him for this kind of pressure and protect him from being damaged, or am I just overreacting? And how common is this kind of hazing in junior? There's a question.
I love this question.
Freaking awesome question.
I was just having a
Let's
conversation
go, John.
with Adam Jeffrey the other day about, because he goes to RIT. We were just talking about whatever, and we actually were talking about hazing and stuff, and we both were just talking about how different it is. So I love this question, and again, this is another question where this is as a dad, because I went through it as a player in 1985. Dude, I was talking to Adam about that yesterday. It's just it was
That's different.
It was bad.
Yeah, bad.
I saw a few years of that. But so John, to keep you at ease here, it was really bad then, and I think the stories that you heard about, and that you kind of hear about are from a little bit more of the past. Now, having said that, there recently was something in one of the OHL teams that guys got kicked out of the league. I don't know how bad it was. There's no real details on that. But let me go back to that. It's very, very few and far between. Okay, so back when we played in the 80s and 90s, it was bad. I had to do things I didn't want to do. I was nervous about it. I didn't like it. Didn't want to do it. I don't know why you guys had to be this way. And when I became a veteran, it's like I didn't want to participate in those in being the veteran, having the rookie parties, the hazing bullshit. I thought it was stupid. But having said that, there are a segment of guys that they like to be, for the first time in their life, the boss of other people, the veteran guy, the big wheel guy, And there are a few guys like that would like to flex their muscle a little bit. Having said that, the way it is now, this is what I'm really happy with the OHL now, is Dave Branch. I've mentioned his name a few times. He runs the OHL, CHL, and they recognize that, if you want to have people in your league and develop humans and market it, you can't have that shit, and they didn't do it just for marketing, but you don't want your members of your team and parents doubting that this is an unsafe place for your kids. So they've done a good job of taking the hazing. We didn't use those words, but the hazing out of it. And there's penalties for hazing. So
big ones.
Yeah, big ones, and
ones.
There should be.
Yeah.
So it's so much now. So this is for John. There's so much now that the teams are very, very, very so we've got hazing, bullying. That's kind of the same thing. The racism, the all the stuff that goes with it. It's very, very, very policed, and thank God. To me, there's no need for it, but there's going to always be a little bit. So it's got to the point, I believe, based on the kids and my kid telling me, it's like it's not anymore like rookie pick up the pucks. Now, I told my son, when you go there, like, you're the rookie, go pick up the pucks.
Right. Yeah.
Be the rookie.
Yeah.
Because if you go be the rookie, be the good guy, and just be the rookie guy, and eat last, all that stuff. It's not bad. Enjoy it, because you only happen for 1 year.
I'm sorry, I was just sort of cut you off. I've said this before. There's a difference between someone making you do it and you going and doing it. So that's where the difference is. Go there knowing where you're at on the team, right?
And I think I said this before. I had one guy on my team. He got traded to us my first year. I'm 16 years old. I got there early. I'm loading up the bus a little bit, not because I had to. It was just I was there. I was one of the first guys, and then I had to, but I just did my job. So this guy got traded. And the first time I met him, obviously he's a new guy on the team. I know the name, so I went up to him and said, "Hey," we're not going to say his name. "Hey, bud, Andy, and he said, "Shut up, rookie." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." You're 21. He's 21, right? He's an overage. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." This didn't stop. It was right to the end of the year. It's like, dude, like, come on. Anyways, back then it was a lot worse. So right now, the OHL colleges, it's very, very strict. So there's not really a such thing. Now, does anything happen? I'd be lying and I'd be full of shit if I said, yeah, there's no rookie party ever. There's stuff.
There's always a rookie party.
And it's more of a welcoming thing. And it's also a little bit of, yeah, you're probably gonna have a few beers. Yeah, and you're probably gonna have more than you want. And I came to the conclusion with that. So, anyways, going back to John, I feel your pain because I was there in the middle of it when I was 16. I didn't want my kid or any of my kids that I train to go through that. It was shit, absolute shit. And for some people, it's enough to turn them off. And it wasn't right. But now there's so many constraints for good. And I think honestly, for the most part, the kids are just better. Like as far as it's more inclusive. It's not. It's I don't want to use the word inclusive. What is the word? It's more. Kids are more mature, maybe.
I just think, to me, I think it's just been an actual culture change.
Yeah, there's a way
in
to
hockey,
say it.
and I'm gonna go now because I want to get a little more specific for John here because I'm kind of fresh out of it. There's every team I was on that's in junior and in college, we had a talk every year about it, and there was like zero tolerance, none, and the zero tolerance is enforced, and those are the stories that you read. So the oddball story of where there's a team that has bad behavior, like I remember, I think it was Ottawa, University of Ottawa, they had their hockey program suspended for 2 years because of incident. Whether I don't even remember honestly if it was hazing or some other misbehavior, but whatever it was, it's like it's very tightly monitored at the high levels. So that is the first piece of mind is that it's not allowed. So because it's not allowed, the teams sneak it. And that's what ends up happening every year is there is a rookie party on most teams every year.
You mean the players?
The players sneak it, right? So they have a team party where they're not allowed to call it rookie party, and they'll still have the party. And basically what ends up happening is you do a bunch of drinking games, and kids either do them or they don't. The vet guys try to make the kids do them, but at the end of the day, if the guys don't want to do them, like when I played, I remember my rookie party, it was like if you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to. But it, like, so I remember exactly what one of my vet that year said to me, because I remember I had to drink this thing I didn't want to drink, and he just goes, "Yeah, like you don't have to do it, but like if you do it, it'll be pretty cool." And that was kind of the mentality. We had a good group of guys though, because to your point, you'll get the one idiot or a couple idiots on your team that take things too far or try to push it too far. But what I'll say about those types of things, most of the time the games are like they're drinking games. That's what they are, and there'll be someone on the team that's kind of the dad and making sure everybody's okay. But what I'll say about that is if the kid is uncomfortable, or because some of that's going to happen where the kid is uncomfortable because it's a new situation, there's every team I've been on, and I was one of them when I was a veteran player, there are guys on the team that the young guys can go to for like a little bit of protection. And so what my advice would be to, I mean, you can't really do this because you're the dad, but for the kid, if you teach the kid to have some sense, he can find those guys on the team. So I remember there was veteran players on all of my teams, and then I wanted to be one of them because to your point, I thought all the like rookie party shit was stupid. So I would always say to guys like, "Yeah, this is the game." And then if guys came to me and they're like, "Dude, like, do I have to do this?" Whatever. I'm like, "No, man. Like, if you don't want to do it, it's fine. Like, you could just watch it. It's fine." So, or I would DQ them from the game. I'd be like, "No, he ain't doing it. He's out. He's not playing or whatever." Right. So your kid can find those guys and he can ask them and he can say like, "Hey man, like I'm nervous about doing this." Don't go to the guy on the team that's a goof, obviously, but you find the older guy on the team that can that has your back a little bit, or you feel like you can trust a little bit, and you can say to them, "Hey man, like I'm not cool with doing this, or I'm really uncomfortable doing this, or I don't know how to do this, or I don't want to do it, or whatever the thing is." And you'll find good guys on the team, man, that want to help,
especially
and
now.
right, especially now. So
Like back when I played there, you know how you said if I didn't want to do it, you didn't have to do it.
yeah,
Well, back when I played,
you
if you
had to.
didn't want to do it, you're still
You're
doing it.
still doing it. Yeah.
And all the things you read about, that's exactly what it was.
And it still happens. Like those stories still happen,
Yep.
right? Like you could have the majority of the older guys that make you do
Yep.
something, and that's a bad
Yep.
situation, of course, right?
Yep. But all the stuff that you read about, that used to happen. It's changed.
Yeah.
Unless it's done.
That's the
But
one-offs.
it's
the one-offs.
it's so rare now.
That's why it's a story to read about.
That's why it's a story now. That's
it's rare.
Yeah, the world has changed, and
Mhm.
for the better in that case, for sure. Now, what I would say is, as a parent, before I give John some other advice, as a parent, when you're bringing your kid through this is where parenting becomes very important. Is if you raise your kid with values, and not I'm a little wiener, but if you raise your kid with some values, can maybe think things through, has some social skills and stuff like that. If he gets drafted, and you know, as you're talking to him, it's like, you know, tell him to be exactly what you said. That's one of the things I was going to say is you're going to gravitate, if you're a good kid, which most kids are, gravitate to the people, the true leaders of the team. And if you do your little rookie things right, especially, just go along, not go along, but just be humble when you go in there. And you find the Ben McFarlands and guys like that Charlie played with, and just they're your friends, your friends. Just say, listen, man, I'm nervous, or whatever. Yeah, I got you. Nothing's gonna happen. That's stupid. And then you know. So you teach your kid that much, anyways, and check in with him before when he goes. Like, just say, how's everything going? Is there a party coming up? Because I was worried. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? So here's the advice I give dad now. Obviously, we know that there's a couple teams that don't give a shit. It's been in the paper, right? But you could read that coming over the last 3 years, you know. But if you're talking to, you know, if you're talking to organizations where the general managers and the coaches and the owners have been there for a long time, so I'm talking George Burnett in Guelph. He's been in the league for 30 some years. There's a reason he's still in the league for 30 some years. There's James Boyd in Ottawa that has been around for 20 years and run an excellent program, and there's seems to not be any issues because they run a tight ship. They're quality people. Dave Cameron's their coach, right? These are good quality people. That the Hunters in London, they're good people, man. They've been running this thing for 20 years or so. You know that you're going into a place where your son is taken care of, and the leadership of those groups are so good. Like, even though stuff will happen on the side a little bit here and there, they know what's going on, right? They know. And it's like, okay, there's so much that you can put up with, but there's a line that you'll never cross with these guys. And that's, so as a parent, you don't have to go to the team where, like, I'll, there's a couple teams that have called, like back when Charlie was getting drafted. I'm just being honest here. That I talked to, because there was a couple interviews where I was included and Mom was included on the interviews, and I sat there and I'd be like, "There's not a chance he's going to your team. Not this guy. You're a clown. You're a clown, dude. Like, I don't even like you in a phone call, let alone, like, I'm going to send my kid to you for the next 4 years. Not a chance." So if you have that gut feeling, you're allowed to ask questions, and you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, "Nah, not a chance we're coming." Because if that's a concern, like, and that's one area, right? Because if you can't control a hazing or a rookie party situation, you don't have quality people running your organization. That's just one incident. That's just hazing. That's just the beginning of your rookie party. So the whole year will probably be a shit show. So my thing would be is, like, if you do your due diligence as a parent, and because it is your job, or it is your right to put your son or daughter in an environment that is safe within reason, right? Like, well, no, safe. And if you don't like what you see, you don't have to do it. and you wait it out, and you can go to college, or you can go to another team, or get traded, or just say no. So I think it's really important to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip it back to from the kid side because the one sentence here from John is he's definitely his own person, but I see potential for him to play along, since not doing so would mean the end of progress in hockey. So first of all, the tail end of that sentence, the if he doesn't play along, he won't progress in hockey anymore. That's not really true. So if he doesn't play along, like that isn't necessarily a consequence to him, unless he's being a wiener on the team, right? And this is now where you have to be able to balance participating and being part of the team versus you guys are idiots. I'm not doing that, with that like judgmental superiority complex type of attitude. So just based on your sentence, he's definitely his own person. That to me indicates a bit of a strong personality where he can make his own decisions and he's not necessarily going to be told what to do by anyone that tells him what to do. So that's a good thing. And then you seeing potential for him to play along isn't necessarily a bad thing because of the first part of your sentence. Because he's his own person, even if you see a little bit of potential to play along, that's actually not a bad thing necessarily, right? So I remember for me, because my parents did in my opinion, they did a great job with me when I was in that situation. It was exactly that. I knew exactly how to toe the line. Whereas like I'm going to participate just enough where everybody thinks I'm cool and part of the team, but not so much that I'm uncomfortable or don't feel safe. So what did I do at the time when I was in rookie party when I was 16 years old? I found, like I said, I found those guys that were the veteran players that I could trust, number one. And then I found ways to be sneaky because I have a brain. And I'm like, I've never drank anything before. I'm not drinking all this. Like, I'm going to want to die. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what's going to happen. And had I drank every single thing they gave me, I still would have been fine. But I don't know that when I'm 16. So what would I do? Guys are turned around and I would like chuck some of my drink out of my cup, right? Or I'd pour some of this out over here where nobody saw or whatever. I got to go pee and I would take my drink and empty it because I'm not an idiot, right? So if you have my point of bringing that up is that if your kid, to your point, like you said in your own sentence, he's his own person, that means he probably has some brains. And from dad's perspective, this is again me talking as the kid. It's like if you, like you said, brought your kid up with a head on his shoulders and he's got some values and he understands life a little bit, then he's gonna figure out how to navigate the situation. So you can rest assured that most likely scenario, if he's got a head on his shoulders, is he's going to be okay. And you have to trust that you've taught him the right way, because being able to toe the line is an important part of fitting in with the team, which is important. It's important to fit in with the guys. So he might have to play along a little bit, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing, right? As long as he knows where to draw the lines and where to have a hard line where I'm not going past this point. And that's the end of it.
Most of the teams now it's more of a welcoming thing anyways. It's not a punishment thing.
Right,
it's just let's have some fun. You're gonna be part of the team, and it's not usually a bad thing.
And that's what it was for me.
Get the audience. That's all.
That was from like 2010 to 2017 or 18 was my junior and college career. It's like every year we had a rookie party, and that's basically what it was. It's like everyone just hanging out, having fun, and it wasn't anything to be worried about,
Yeah, there's the teams are run so much better. The other thing is in college, I don't know how that goes, but I mean, can imagine what those parties are like.
Yeah, now it's.
I know, like
a
lot of times the CHL gets a kick in the ass, like they're the bad guys. It's not really. It's just everywhere.
I know.
You go to college and there's no parents, no billets. I mean, I can only imagine what that. But all I know, my rookie party, I was sick for 3 days.
Yep.
And I woke up with an Export A dart in my mouth. I'm like, I don't smoke, and other stuff.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
But as a parent, I really, really, really feel for this because this is a real question. As a parent, like you care about your kid.
Man.
It's brutal, but
it's a good talk.